Those Nyala over there are performing a Tai Chi maneuver because they don't like each other. That is what they do in order to avoid having to fight. This is not actual Tai Chi that I'm doing. I'm being an idiot. My name is James Henry, and it's wonderful to have you with us here in the South African Lowveld, the bush as we like to call it. The Australians also like to call it the bush, but this is not to be confused with the Australian bush. Wonderful. There are some impala running. It is a glorious day. I'm going to estimate roughly 20 degrees Celsius or so, which should put us at, I guess, just below 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Fergus is on camera today, and most importantly, we would love to hear from you during the course of the day. You can talk to us on the hashtag Soy Live using Twitter. Stream. Good. Noelle is out as well. She is driving around Djuma, and shortly in the Masai Mara we will have two of Taylor Brent. I'm not sure which one will be out there. So that is the plan for today. The crew. I am going to be going down towards Treehouse Dam and then following on left from there, east, to see if we can't find Tundi again. We've got more Nyala over there. And for those of you who don't know, that weird sort of Tai Chi thing that the Nyala do really is, it looks exactly like two animals doing Tai Chi when they do it. They kind of walk around each other with this slow and very graceful, we need a better word than movement, but slow and very graceful suite of dance moves, I suppose. And then if that fails to impress sufficiently, they will eventually engage in mortal combat. And I have seen it once. I've only seen Nyala having a fight once, and it was utterly impressive. It looked like two of the most expert fencers you've ever seen, parrying and thrusting, and the skill with which they blocked each other's blows was really quite astonishing, especially given that when their heads are bowed down and they are locked in horned combat, they can't actually see what they're doing.
There's a brief giraffe in the background.
There was a brief giraffe in the background, according to Fergus. He would know, he is on camera. But I can't see a giraffe. Can you see a giraffe still? He's now back behind a large termite mound. I can see where you're looking. Yes, there it is. That's marvellous. Yes, he's a long way off. And the Nyala have headed off, so I think we too shall do the same. The sun's just popping up. We'll give it a... We'll show it to you. Oh, goodness, I haven't warmed up yet. We'll show it to you in a little while. While I find the sun and try and limber myself slightly, let us head across to Noelle, who has managed to find herself some signal.
I have found something. It's a static water body. Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful, beautiful morning here in South Africa. I am Noelle, and on camera I have VM. Hello, wildebeest. And we are out looking for lions. We had lion audio this morning before we left camp, so we're busy trying to see about anything. We found a little bit of scat, but we've got no tracks. And now we just need to sit and listen for a minute and see if we get their calling again. And when they do call, it helps us pinpoint where they might be. And I say they, because when I heard the sounds, it was inside of my room. Vildy was out in the courtyard. And so we're just trying to pinpoint here. Could be one, could be two. We'll have to wait and see. So, as of yet, not much. The only other thing that I've seen that's very, very, very cool, it's actually coming out nicely, is these little dab chicks that are busy swimming on the other side of twin dams here. So a dab chick is also known as a little grebe. Got a male and a female there. Teeny, 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 tiny. They're the size of maybe a month-old little chicken, if I could think of a way to describe it. The male's on the left, the female's on the right. With bird species, if you get sexual dimorphism, So differences between male and female, usually the male is the more colorful. And then when they have a little chick, then the chick rides on the back of the dad when he moves around and dives underneath water. It's the cutest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. So no chick today, but just a nice new bird to add to our list. So I've been trying to keep track of all the birds we've done on camera in the past month, and I think we're sitting somewhere around 100. I have to triple check. I don't know if someone else has been checking for me. So I've been trying to do just myself, but I was actually interested in thinking of maybe doing all of us and just double checking where we are, because it's almost end of year, and I need to do my 2017 tally for here, for Djuma, and then for some of the other places I've visited, and then my tally for the whole year as well in general. Hello, Egyptian geese. Okay, I'm not hearing any more lion sounds, so I think let's check the cut line for some tracks quickly, and then maybe head into the Milwaukee and up and see if we can find anything. Now, I hope everybody enjoyed their game drive yesterday afternoon. And you had a good evening or day, depending on where you were, where you are. I was not on drive yesterday afternoon. I went to go get Scott. Scott is visiting us here in Juma, so it'll be nice to see his face. Let's head quickly, and then we'll see if we can get these gremlins to leave us alone.
We are not very far from where you last saw us, hoping that we can perhaps spot a few flowers as we head along quarantine clearings. And I will just quickly show you the sun rising through the trees in, well, Yuri's garden, basically. Yuri is the owner of Djuma, and that's his garden. Wouldn't it be nice to have a garden here? Oh, and Herbert has spotted some zebra, the far end of quarantine clearings. I do feel quite strongly that we need a more romantic name for these clearings than quarantine. When, every time I say it, I get the sense of smallpox, yellow fever, cholera, and other things that might require being quarantined. I think we should call this Serengeti clearings. What do you think? Yes, or Hyde Park. Yes, call it Kensington Gardens. Yes. Or Regent's Park, yes, Louise, if you'd like, if you'd prefer. There is the sun in all of its fullest glory, now emerged from the eastern horizon. If I wasn't on air, I might be tempted to take a photograph. It smells fresh. There's a little breeze coming out of the southeast. There is a little bit of a twang of impala dung in the air, because of course the impala have been spending a lot of time up here, as have the wildebeest, in fact. And we'll just see if we can't get a little bit closer to this bunch of nyala over here. Let's go up this way. I'm interested that Lion is looking for Noel. Noel is looking for lions, because I didn't hear anything last night, but that is not surprising. Did you? Fergus says he heard them in the morning, and so does Louise. They obviously are more aware than I am at morning and night. I just want to see if we can't get a little bit closer to these nyala. There's some others up here, and perhaps we'll also catch up with the zebra, which are not far off. Hannah, you say this is the first bushwalk you've ever seen, and you want to know if we encounter animals. Indeed we do. We've encountered some now. We've encountered some zebra over there. There's some impala, some nyala. So those are the first animals that we've encountered today. But yes, we will actively track things like elephants and lions and leopards when we can. The idea, though, Hannah, is that we observe very much in a passive role. So if we find elephants, for example, the idea is to watch them without them knowing that we're there. It's not in any way to try and engage with them or create some sort of sensational encounter that requires me to clap my hands and shout and make the animal retreat. It's very much to engage with the wilderness on foot, which gives you a much more immersive feeling, and certainly I hope gives you a slightly more immersive experience than being in a vehicle. But the idea is to interact in a very passive way with the wilderness. Watch out for that stick behind you there, Fergus. So with these nyala and these impala, we're walking straight across a clearing. It's almost impossible that they won't react to us because they've seen us coming from some way away. But if there was an elephant there or something like that, we'd try and view him without him knowing that we were there. I'm just listening carefully. It's the impalas grunting at each other. They're not alarm calling. When they have babies, the mothers constantly calling their babies with little grunts. Let's look at the Birchall starling sitting up there. And of course let's remember that when we use the term animal, it does, of course, refer to anything that ain't a plant, a fungus, a bacterial, or a protozoan. So that bird is most certainly an animal, as are any of the insects we'll find. And now the zebra's looking at us. It might be quite nice. That is the Birchall starling. And that is the Birchall zebra. Let's see what I did there, Fergus.
Good. Connective tissue.
Connective tissue, exactly.
Yeah, no,
Taylor, all the way from the Mara, has identified this as the McCurdy herdie. That was a herd of zebra that used to knock about here. Taylor really habituated quite nicely on foot. I'm not sure if this is the same group of zebra. They're not territorial, of course. But, if it makes Taylor feel deeply excited up in the Mara as she's about to show you the expanse of East Africa, well, then I think that's wonderful. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer. Okay, they're now starting to sort of puff at us, so they're going a little bit like a horse might. The impala seem to be jogging in the background. Yes, they're running away. Let's keep going. And just back to Hannah's question, the big thing about a walk is that we learn how it must have been for our human ancestors up here. Obviously, most of them weren't followed by someone like Fergus carrying a large backpack with an aerial and a camera, but many would have operated in the same way. They are completely, in theory, defenseless. But clearly, animals do not see us that way, and that's why they don't let us get anywhere near them. They see us completely as predators, and it is only when we're on foot that we start to truly realize our place in a wild area like this. One hesitates to use the term niche, but I guess it is our niche, our general standing in the pyramid of life out here, if that makes any sense at all. Because we tend to think of this place as being tremendously dangerous, as being a place that we can't really interact with on the level that the animals do, but we can, and we do. And just if you turn around now, Ferg will get the Birchall zebra now, just walking. Oh, he's just turned around. And he will not let us get close to him, because he sees even me at 5 feet 8 inches and 41 years old as a threat to him at 350 kilograms. Nothing like as old as me, and immensely speedy. Alrighty, we're going to treehouse down, see if we on going on a car. This is a dreadful link. Please go to Noel.
Sorry, James. It looks like the gremlins have found you. We have found a black-bellied bustard. Just flew away from us now. So we get a lot of questions about what's the difference between a black-bellied bustard and a red-crested coron. Just look at how long this neck is in relation to the body. Oh, really? That was rather rude. Sorry, black-bellied bustard. In relation to the body, much, much longer than you'll get with a red-crested coron. And also sort of just the shape of the head and how the eyes function on the shape of the head. So we found lion tracks. Yay! Male lion tracks. It looked like at least 2. And they were moving down towards the Milwaukee, towards... Oh, check there, Vildy. Did you see that? We've got a bird that's being mobbed. Vildy's going to use his skills just now. Check there. That raptor's being mobbed hectically. Let me just check with my binos to see which birds we're looking at. Looks like a fork-tailed drongo mobbing a gymnogene. So, James Richard, if you're watching today, yesterday you asked me for a gymnogene. Here's your gymnogene, our African harrier hawk. They're very cool. They've got legs that are... Oh, yes, check that. They are really determined to get this gymnogene out of here. Gymnogene means bare-cheeked, so you can see every now and then that big yellow spot near the face. That is the bare cheek. And they've got a double-jointed leg that can get inside of bark and inside of trees to rip little birds and squirrels out. And one of the reasons why those drongos are going so hectically like they are is that he also has the capability of sort of grabbing them and catching them. And that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Vildy, for the camera work. Oh, great stuff. We got lots of action going on. Okay, so back to our lions after our little raptor break. Found some tracks heading in towards the Milwaukee on the northern side of Twin Dam. So we're just trying to get where they came from. We're thinking that they came from our southern boundary, which is good, which means they're going to want to pull through here and hopefully either stay here for a minute or just move north, which gives us more time to look for them. And we might get lucky, but also where James is headed on his walk, he might also either pick them up or pick up tracks for us. So we will have to wait with bated breath and see. Also, the area that we're traversing through right now is a possibility of seeing Tundi. This is the area she's been moving around in since she had her tiny little cubs. And I think if I remember correctly, from the day that James saw her and then the next day Tristan, just to triple confirm everything, I think we're about 3 weeks now. Pushing onto 4 weeks, which means if we're 3 weeks pushing onto 4 weeks, another sort of 3 weeks or so, and hopefully we'll start seeing those tiny little youngsters and also be able to tell you how many she has. Alright, Vildy, what do you think? Pull through the Milwaukee or take a big loop around north? Yeah. Vildy's saying pull through down. I like it. I like it. Okay, so on my wish list now would be those cheeky male lions just sort of sitting in the road nicely for us to see. Because lions, these particular males service a few different prides and have a nice sized territory. When we do see them, it either means that the females are on the property with us, or we're catching them as they're moving through. And currently, I'm not quite sure where the sticks are. The last update I had of the sticks pride was complaints. And that was probably 5 days ago, a week ago. And my guess is that these males probably went to go check on the sticks, and then little leopards as well. Alright, James's gremlins have disappeared, so let's head back to him while we search for these lions.
Well, they have, and so have the animals. I walked too close, and there is just thundering of hooves now in front of us. Anyway, let's keep going. I think it's time we found a flower, and I was trying desperately to remember the name of this flower the other day, because I remember at this time of the year, and it was in fact in this area last year that I had to re-ask for the name of the flower that smells like diesel. I think it is a clerodendron of some sort. Is it? Maybe? But before we get there, let us have a look at this, which is going to be a hibiscus flower. And you can see it starts off orange, and it'll be yellow eventually, I think. I think that's what we have there. That's a very nice picture you have there, Fergus, juxtaposed with my Kenyan bangli. And I can smell the diesel flower. Here it is. It's this thing here. Yeah, it is the most... it is the most unpleasant smelling leaf I've ever smelt. It's got a really disgusting aromatic oil that comes out of it that smells like kind of almost organic rotten diesel. And I've no doubt Judy H. will very kindly remind me for the third time what this thing is. It's clerodendron something or other. And it will produce a very beautiful white flower with purple anthers on it, and I'm just not sure when. It will be fairly soon, but I can never remember its name. Anyway, so it goes, so it goes. Let's just cross over the road here, on account of the fact that it's impossible to walk the other side of that anti-erosion sort of mess they have the other side. And then let's have a look here at this Strychnos madagascarensis bush. Now this one has got new leaves on it, and it's relatively attractive when it's this size. But what I think you will find is that we're not looking at 3 trees here, we're looking at one plant. And it has been broken so many times that the rootstock is now an enormous sort of, I guess, tangle of woody roots, are now about 2.5 feet across under the ground, and it still continues to produce these shoots of very hard, bendy, irritating tree. And I say irritating because they really do take over areas, and I don't recall ever seeing anything particularly interesting on one of them. I'm just trying to see now if I can't find a spider of some sort. There's some ants. And if there are ants, you can be fairly sure there'll be a spider that wants to eat them. I can see a bit of spider web as I turn it towards the sun. Let's just tell you that in the background, oh, here we go. In the background I can hear an African cuckoo going hoot hoot, hoot hoot, hoot hoot. Can you see the spider's web there, Ferg?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I don't think the spider is at home. But almost always where you find... Ah, here it is. Can you believe it? Come around here, Ferg. I think it's attached itself to my elbow.
Ah.
No, I've got it. It's still here. You see it climbing? There it is. It's just the other side of the lens. Let me give it a bit of a touch, inspire it. There we are. How cool is that? Little green spider. I have almost no doubt in my mind that its sole goal, this little green spider, is to eat ants that climb around on the strychnos bush. Isn't that magnificent? It's no more than 1.5 millimeters across. Neen, you want to know if anything eats the diesel plants that I know of? No, I'm afraid I have no knowledge of any animal that would eat that stuff. I'll look out for it. You might find Nyala and Bushbuck do if they're extremely desperate. There he is, going back to his plant. And totally disguised now on a leaf. I'm sure there are lots of them on here. You won't be the only one. Imagine being a little ant, sort of a... I mean, the ants are about 0.5 millimeter. And crawling along in the early morning light on your strychnos leaf, looking for bits and pieces. I don't know what these ants are trying to eat. And being set upon by that nasty green spider. Not very nice at all. That is very cool, actually. I didn't expect to find that. I hoped I would. All right. Shall we press along? Let's continue through here. But lovely elephant sighting yesterday evening, so maybe we'll come across a few elephants today. We've had fairly quiet bushwalks from a big game point of view lately. Nobody's seen a buffalo on this reserve for roughly 3 centuries. That's an exaggeration if you're a new viewer. They just haven't been around much since last year. I'm not really sure why. This too, let us on the theme of strychnos plants. This is a strychnos bush, another Strychnos madagascarensis or black monkey orange, and you can see it's got a vast base as well. Why it should have survived to be this size, I'm not really sure. In other parts of the country, of course, those trees grow into fairly large... Oh, here we go. They grow into fairly large trees with nice fruits. Now, this is interesting. We've got a baboon's tail here, and we've spoken extensively about baboon's tails over the last little while. They are an interesting plant that generally makes their emergence, or always makes their emergence after some water has fallen. There's a lot of water in the soil at the moment, so here we are. And this one has produced flowers, but I cannot remember seeing one that has white flowers before. Normally the flowers are a pale purple colour, and that's really interesting to me, that they should be plain white, and they don't normally smell. And these ones don't either. Very subtle smell, but really not much to speak of. So I don't know, can anyone else remember seeing white baboon's tail flowers before? I can't. I think that's rather nice. I think I might prefer the white ones to the purple ones. I know that's probably a bit boring. Huh. Isn't that cool? Well spotted, Fergus. Well done. Ah, thank you very much, Joy. You say Clerodendrum tenatum. Here it is again. Yeah, that's it. Clerodendrum tenatum, the diesel stinking plant. Clerodendrum tenatum. I'm going to now say it 150,000 times in order to embed it in my brain until next summer. Clerodendrum tenatum. Clerodendrum tenatum. Clerodendrum tenatum. Clerodendrum tenatum. Clerodendrum tenatum. let's carry on. Okay. Clerodendrum cognatum, Clerodendrum tenatum, Clerodendrum tenatum. Noel's going to surprise. Clerodendrum tenatum. See you later. Clerodendrum tenatum, Clerodendrum tenatum, Clerodendrum tenatum.
Oh my goodness, we're on the way to the biggest surprise ever. I'm just going to drive along the fire bank because that road is so horrible. So I'm just trying to get us there. It's super exciting. So now Vildy and I have been chatting about where we think these male lions are going to go, and where did they move, and how did they do it. And we were right, they came in from our southern boundary. They went along the northern side of Twin Dams and they went west. And as we were busy pulling our loop around, I got a call from one of the guys and he said, come, 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 come. I've got these male lions. So we've just done a little bit of a circular route and I'm trying my best to get you there. Now normally, you guys know me, I don't rush too much, but they're coming up towards our western boundary, and as you know, if they go over west, we can't see them. So it's four male lions. So excited. All right, so we're almost there. The anticipation is killing me. I just got to keep an eye on the road for now. I don't want to lose anybody off the back or fall into a hole, and then we can't watch our male lions. All right, let me just get on the radio here. Tax, Noel tax. I'm almost to Impala Plains. I'm from Triple M side. Where must I go? That's fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, so Tax is telling me now that they were moving, almost to our western boundary, but now they've gone what we call stationary or static, which is to lie down. All right, are we ready? Sorry, you know I love lions. You can't be excited about not seeing lions. Oh, this is too much. Okay. Here we go. I see a vehicle, I think, or I've lost my mind. Either one. Hang on, it's a little bit bumpy. What's happening? There's a car. I see them in all of their beautiful glory. Oh my goodness, everybody. Oh my goodness. Look. Coalition of 4 males. Too much. All right, guys, I'm going to position so that we can get the best view. But you guys, check this. I have not seen a coalition of 4 males, and I can't even tell you how long. So I just want to pull over to the side here and then get the sun in a little bit of a better situation and send kisses to the guys because this is just too much. You like it there, Vildy? Tell me, when must I back up and put us at 12 o'clock, you think? Tell me when? Oh, beautiful. All right, everybody. It's soon to be screenshot time. I'm so excited. I know Lou's saying to me, this is so cool. I think all of us are just super excited about this because as we were talking about earlier, I mean, look how beautiful. As we were talking about earlier, the male lions tend to really move through our territory, or our area rather, in their territory searches and markings, so we don't get to see them often. So all 4 of them together like this is just, oh. Okay, I'm breathing, everybody. I can hear several viewers twittering away, going, "Noel, breathe. It's okay, breathe." I'm breathing. I'm just super excited. All right, male lions. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so what do we know about male lions? So a lot of our viewers have been with us for a very long time, so I'd be interested to know what your favorite fact about male lions is, or if you have any questions. Don't forget, we are live, we are interactive, #SafariLive on the Twitter and on the YouTube chat, which I actually think I forgot to say earlier this morning, so please excuse me. There's a battered old boy there. If any of our longtime viewers are out there watching and want to go through and put up who's who in the zoo with our 4 boys here, just so some of our new viewers might get an idea of what you all know. As far as I know, this is the Birmingham Boys. I've seen 3 of the 4. And I haven't ever seen those 3 together. So now we've got all 4 together. Now, my wish list now, after we have now seen them and they're now stationary, they're not moving, is for them to all roar together. So 1 male lion's roar this close to you, you feel in your chest. 4 male lions roaring this close to you is pieces of the universe coming together and just landing in your body in this explosion of amazingness. I have no other way to describe it. It is just the most epic, epic, epic feeling. Beautiful little backlighting. We've got, I would take a screenshot here if I was anybody. That's quite lovely. Ears forward, eyes open, head tilted. And then, of course, he closes his eyes. A little bit of light in the back. That's also beautiful. There's the shot right there. Beautiful. So as you guys can hear, I do love my photography, and as you can hear, I'm so used to helping my guests get photographs, so I get very into where we are and how we position, not just for us but for you all as well. Okay. One of my favorite things about this area where I work in the Lowveld here is the population densities of predators. So currently the lion and leopard populations are going through a peak rather than a valley. The cheetah population is going through a valley. And something that happens when you're going through a peak with lions in their populations, when they have a strong, large population, is you get these larger coalitions. So anyone that was watching when we were seeing the sticks quite a lot near twin dams, and we were counting all 10 of their cubs of very different ages, and I was saying it looks like there's about 7, and I was super excited because the possibility for a coalition of 7 males out of those 3 litters would be out of this world. When they have large coalitions like these 4 or like the 7, like the Mpochos or anything around these numbers, their dominance is, I have no other word other than epic to explain it. They take over prides and they take over areas and they function in a way that is very assertive and to me quite enthralling. So I know that with the Mapochos they had a couple of instances where their testosterone, their assertiveness actually led them to kill and eat lions. I know that there was an example where they actually killed a female lion, I think mated with her after killing. I mean that's on the sort of slightly sociopathic side of it. But with these 4 boys, it's going to be very hard to oust them. Now, I don't quite know their ages, as I don't know them very well. My guess would be that they're probably between 8 and 10. That would be my guess. But if there's anyone out there that wants to help me with the ages of the Birmingham males, I would really, really appreciate that. And so they probably have another couple of years . All right. So, Michael, you have gone through and had a look at the IDs of these male lions and then sent them through. I know that you guys have names for the Birmingham males, and Lou has just done her best to give them to me. Unfortunately, Lou, you're going to have to give them again. Sorry about that. All right, Michael, you say that's Nana? And then towards the back there, those 2. And Fumu on the left. And Suku on the right. And then, is it Tino? That's the last one that's over there on the right-hand side. Yeah, okay. So I'm still getting used to having names that go further than the coalition names. So bear with me, guys, but you're more than welcome to send through your information like you did just now, Michael. Thank you very much. Or just on whatever platform you all are chatting. More than welcome. So these 4 Birmingham boys, I would say probably have 2 or 3 years left in their dominancy if I've aged them correctly. And that will give, say, if those 7 cubs, male cubs from the sticks sticks do reach maturity, that will give them a chance to get to a level where they might be able to take over. Now, I've seen males take over territories at the age of sort of 3 or 4, but I've also seen it take a lot longer. It takes sort of 6 or 7 years, and it depends. So we might even have those males from the sticks having to move to a different area and take over a different territory somewhere. Lions can interbreed. They'll interbreed to sort of up to generation 10, but that's pushing it a bit. Usually around sort of 4 to 6, and then they need some new blood. One of the reasons why male lions are kicked away from their natal pride and move off and are slightly nomadic for a bit to then find a territory is to help spread genetics and keep everything viable. From a conservation standpoint, just our little fact for the day. When I started guiding, so about a decade ago, there were 7 populations of lions in the wild that were able to keep the genetic flow going. Now, 10 years on, there's only 5 of those populations left, possibly moving into 4. Oh, there's the guy with the dread we saw the other day. I'm digging that dread. Still reminding me of Bob Marley. So he's up and moving, which means his brothers will get up and moving shortly. He doesn't look thin, but he doesn't look like he's eaten last night or the night before. I would probably say he ate 4 or 5 days ago. So he's just walked behind that game drive vehicle from Djuma there, and I can't begin to explain to you how amazing it is to have a huge male lion walk past the bottom of your foot. It's really absolutely incredible. He's gone over, he's scent marking, so sorry, we've got a little bit of a bush in the way. Busy spraying his urine. And then carrying on. Now, the direction he's heading is a little bit north, a little bit west. We will be able to stick with them for a bit longer, which is good. Now, the other three are watching him, but not quite following. Just look at his muscles, hey? I got a really nice photo of him walking down Biffle's Hook Cut Line the other day, but this is pretty special. Volpine Wolf Girl, you've got a couple of questions. One is, what is the largest coalition I've seen? And then your second question was, can one male be territorial over a few prides of females? Let me answer your second question first. So one male can be territorial over a couple of prides. The coalitions allow for the fact that when you have more than one male that is together, that is busy with the territory and marking territory and covering the females, that it's harder for other males to come in and take over. But I have seen one, it's not a one male coalition, but just one male that has a territory with 2 different prides. I've also heard of up to 3 prides, but it's really, really pushing it. And then with your other question about what is the largest coalition I have seen, the largest coalition I've seen is 5 together. I haven't seen more than 5, and that 5 male coalition didn't last very long, unfortunately. I never got a chance to see the Mapochus. It was something I really desperately wanted to see, and I've had many friends who worked with them and got to view their many antics, especially their little sociopathic antics, which I find absolutely it's just interesting how they behaved. So yeah, I would be keen to get into an area and be able to see some of those larger coalitions working. Oh, now we've got some movement. This is fantastic. So they watched their brother move off, and now they're slowly going to follow. Now remember, we don't always see these 4 males together. And one of the reasons why we don't is that they need to mark territory. They also need to mate. And so sometimes you'll have one that's mating and the other 3 are off marking territory. Or let's say both the sticks and the Nkuhumas have females that need to mate. You might have one brother with the Nkuhumas and one brother with the sticks. And then you will have the other 2 going off and marking territory. Listen, listen, listen. Can we hear it? Listen. but that's not the full roar. That's like a little whisper of a roar. Okay, I think let's follow these. We'll let the old grumpy man stay behind there. He will come. I think let's follow these guys because I have a feeling that when they're doing that little bit of audio that we're hearing there, that we're going to get a chance possibly for some more audio. We're also very, 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 very close to our western boundary, so I think let's stick with them for as long as we possibly can. Excellent. Lady Starfire, you and your 3 children love the fact that male lions are in fact not lazy and they do work very hard. I think that is a wonderful comment or fact to remind people of. They are definitely not lazy. Well, look, lions in general are lazy, but male lions do hunt and male lions are productive and they do move around. Look at the size of these paws. Look at all the muscles in these back legs. Smelling where the other brother was, or possibly some females. Then we might get a bit of a phlegm grimace where they smell and then they go and bare their teeth and bring that scent into their organs of Jacobson to process to see whether if it's a female, whether she's ready to mate, or if it's possibly a new female in their territory, or if it's a male. And then sometimes they'll be smelling where other predators scent mark. There's the phlegm grimace that like we talked about. Now he's processing. That would be also a very beautiful screenshot. I just need to move my car just a little bit for the guys that are behind me so that they can see properly. There we go. Yeah, I would guess 2 things. I would guess that there's possibly been some females that have moved through here, and then I would guess that that his brother that moved off first marked some territory here. That's what I would guess. All right. I'm gonna let the guests come through and let them follow up. We do this thing called leapfrogging, where we move around each other so that every vehicle can get the best view. And especially because, well, not just for everybody, but this vehicle that's just come through now, they weren't with us before. They didn't have the chance to see them earlier. So just giving them a little bit of an opportunity to do that, and we will follow them through in our tiny little car. 6 and 7. Philip, you're saying the eldest is 7 and the other 3 are 6, so I was off by a year or 2. Interesting. They're very large and dark for their age, but Philip, thank you so much. I do appreciate that. So the old man we left behind is 7, and then these 3 that we're following now are 6 years old. Careful of any branches. So then I would give them about another... Look, I've watched a male until he was 15 be in charge of a territory, but usually sort of around 12 is when they... Oh, sorry, there's a insect that's flown into my shirt. Excuse me. Usually around sort of 10 or 12 is when they start having other males take over. Sorry, it's getting a little bit too thick in there, so they're going to start heading off that way. We're just going to move around to the side. I can see the other 2 that are there. Just saying hello, good morning, good morning, good morning. We're going to get around the corner and have a really beautiful view. While we're busy repositioning, let's go up to the Masai Mara and say good morning to Brent and see what he has to show us.
Morning, 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 morning. We have stumbled upon the Angama Pride as we came down the hill, and it looks like some of the girls have just spotted a possible bacon bite for breakfast. And one of the lionesses already moved off. Good morning, my name is Brent Leo Smith. I have Jawi on camera, and what a wonderful way to start the morning, surrounded by lions. The lions are moving off on the hunt, so I'm actually going to move now down there, and I think we're going to prep a possible action broadcast, guys. I just want to see where the lionesses are going to move. Now, the long grass at the moment is going to help and aid them, especially in warthog hunting, because warthogs are short and they can't really see over the grass. Now, the one problem the ladies do face is the fact that they have all 12 little rascals with them, and one of the little rascals is now following the girls off hunting, so he could make a hash of the hunt. Now remember, this is 100% live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. And if you want to ask us any questions, you can do so by using the hashtag #SafariLive on whatever platform you might be watching on. Now, we had a lot of rain in this area last night, so the ground is quite soft, and some of the warthogs might have been pushed out of their burrows, they might have been flooded, so it could be a good time for the lions to focus on warthogs waking up or trying to do some maintenance on their homes. But what we have noticed is the warthogs here are quite good at spotting lions in the distance. Now, there is a herd of buffalo. Occasionally the Angamas will target baby buffalo, but generally they do prefer a good piggy bacon bite. I saw her trying to do a bit of digging. There might still be warthogs in the hole, but it is very difficult for the lions to dig out warthogs in this part of the Mara, as the ground is proper black cotton clay, so very sticky, and it is very hard for them to dig away. Oh, they are gorgeous creatures. There you can see the buffalo in the background there. Coffee Alert would like to know, how do I know they're not going to attack me? Well, fortunately, I'm in my safari vehicle, which renders me completely safe. As long as you drive respectfully and you don't push the animals, they have no reason to attack a car. It smells like diesel and brake fluid and transmission fluid and all sorts of other things that really are not appetizing at all. And while we're in the vehicle, and they can definitely see us moving in the vehicle, but they don't pick up that it's a human being. They know there's something in the vehicle, but the vehicle doesn't really aid or affect them. So however, if we were to stand up outside of the roof and show the bipedal figure of man, who's been the dominant diurnal predator for about 200,000 years, it would cause the lions to either run away or become aggressive. Normally, they will run away. Most animals would rather run away than get into a fight where they might injure themselves. So, as long as we don't show our bipedal, the upright figure of man, the dominant daytime predator, we're pretty fine with the lions. Now, occasionally you come across lions that are skittish. They're not used to cars, and you just got to take your time, and you can habituate them quite quickly. Now, cars have only been around for just over 100 years, so they don't have an instinctive response to vehicles like they do to the upright figure of man, or to an elephant, or to a hyena, anything else that they've evolved with, and they have an instinctive response. Now, yeah, having a drink of dew this early in the morning. Isn't this wonderful? I'm just going to move the car a little bit. So we can have a better view. Oh, there, that's stunning. I do love it when lions pose so beautifully for us. And you can see her surveying the plain below. So we're actually directly below our camp. Once we entered the park, I think we drove for 5 minutes before we came across the lions. It's always nice. Sometimes we drive around for 7 hours, 8 hours before we see a sighting like this. And you can see zebra in the short grass way off in the distance. And all the cub coming to have a look from the vantage point as well. They are quite hungry. And you can see the valleys are quite concave. Does look like they've had a big meal in a few days. And we've seen them unsuccessfully attempt to hunt warthog a few times. Oh, you're doing a bit of digging there. Is there a warthog in the hole? That is the question. Now, of course, it might be an aardvark, but you can see the sort of, I want to dig it out, but this mud is too much. Oh, there's definitely something in the hole. I think something popped its head out and went, oh my goodness, I'm definitely not getting out of bed today. Now, of course, it could be a porcupine. Now, if it was a porcupine, you might find the pride just move off. And that fright they got was from the rattling of the quills, which is one of the porcupine's defense mechanisms. As you can see, there's only cubs left up on the top of the termite mound, and that probably means it is something that the adult females have decided is not worth the effort to try wait for or to try dig out. And they have now focused their attention on scanning the plains, looking for a potential meal. Now, Stacy is wondering, will the lioness tell the little ones to stay put while they hunt? Sometimes, Stacy, but sometimes, like all children, the cubs don't listen. Okay, now I'm just going to move forward a bit. There's another lioness that's gone quite far up, and I just want to get, there's rocks over there. I'm going to go around this way. I just want to see where she's heading and what her plan is, because that's going to dictate where we go. Now, when lions are hunting like this, we tend to keep our distance a little bit. Well, not when they're all piled on a termite mound, but when the adult lionesses move off and start hunting, what we try to do is position ourselves in a position where we don't affect either the prey or the predator. So we're neutral in the ongoing drama that plays out on the African plains on a day-to-day basis. But we just want to make sure we put ourselves in a position that we can get the best visuals for you to see the incredible animals living their lives out here in the open savannas. Okay, so there we go. I think I'm far enough away that I'm not going to affect. So I want to stick with the lead lioness. I'm just going to stop and show you where she is now. She seems the most set on hunting, and she's already made her way almost right to the top of the hill. Now, that little valley behind, that's home for us. And I actually think we might just now be able to see a lion and our camp in one shot. Okay, let's keep moving. I was coming down the hill and I'm trying to remember. Jar, do you remember seeing any warthogs or anything up top? Zebra, maybe, I think. But those are quite high up. Waterbuck, quite high up. Nothing down that I can remember on this next little ridge. But what we're going to do is we're going to keep moving parallel to her. And hopefully I'm going to be able to sneak up to the top of the ridge before she does, so I can see what's there. What a stunning morning. What a great way to start. Aaron is wondering how far can the lion see. Aaron, I've seen lions pick up movement at over 1 kilometer away. It also all depends on what they're spotting, what size it is. I'm sure they can see elephants from even further. But generally, to get them really interested, whatever they spot needs to be within a couple of 100 meters. Now, unfortunately for the lions, the further up we go, the shorter the grass gets, which does put them at a bit of a disadvantage. Are those warthogs over there, it looks like? Looks like those could be warthogs, and I think they'll spot the lions from a long way away with the short grass around here. Okay, I'm trying to see, are the rest of the pride following? Let me just turn sideways. This female's still on the move, walking along the crest. Let's have a look at her. I can't see if she's seen anything. Now, there are quite a few female warthog in this area with piglets, which are a lion's, what do we call it? It's a snack. It's a little bite. She's walking with a bit of intent, so let's keep going. There's about 3 different female warthogs I know from this area that have got tiny little piglets at the moment, and of course they are not as fast as the adults, so a nice easy meal for the lions. Yeah, I'm just going to get up to the top again. Can't see if any of the other lionesses are following her, but she's definitely, look at that. You can just see her change in demeanor. I'm just going to keep going. I just want to get above her so as not to affect, because I think she's going to pass through where we are now. There's lots of warthogs coming out of their burrows over there, and it looks like there's some babies as well. Let's get up and out of her way. Okay, let's have a look. Now we're in a good spot and we could view all around us. And I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see about 5 or 6 warthogs, but no babies just yet. So it'll be very difficult for her to get close enough to the warthogs on these short grasses. Rest of the pride still down where we left them. They haven't seemed to have moved much. So there's warthogs. None of them seem to have spotted her yet. They're all sort of grazing and walking around. But as you can see, the grass is incredibly short, so I think she's going on the hope for a baby, and that's her tactic at the moment. And there's the 2 warthogs we saw a little bit earlier. And no babies there. Now, she just disappeared down a hole. I lost sight of her, but she's popped back up again. She's definitely hunting warthogs. There's a hole right next to her that she actually went into, popped her head down to see if there was anything there. I think she's trying to catch warthogs who are still at home on the short grasses. There we go, you can see. I think the warthogs from that hole are already out and about. She's on the burrow check route this morning. I wonder if she can see those warthogs in the distance. I don't think so, not just yet. She hasn't noticed them. Even if she had, she might not go after them just because of the length of the grass. Now, I'm wondering if she's... If she goes back... No, she's not going to go back to that hole. She's heading back down towards the rest of the pride, so she's decided that this was an unfruitful mission up to the crest. So I think what they might do is head down into the longer grass. Or she could just be wandering around here trying to check all the different warthog burrows. As I said, there are quite a few different burrows in this area. And I thought there was a warthog in front of her. It was a rock. Now, I think it's going to be another one of those stinking hot days, well, for the Mara. So I'm going to definitely stick with her while she is on the move. Looking for piggies and baby piggies. Just having a quick look to see if I can see any more warthogs. As I said, there's a few females with tiny babies around here still. Oh. So my comms have got a little bit quiet, but it sounded like let's go say good morning to Madam McCurdy.
Hello everybody. Before you even get to see me, you have to have a look at this hippopotamus who has been out grazing all evening and apparently has not eaten his fill either, because he's still got his head down on the ground, but slowly making his way towards the tree line where the Mara River meanders. Hello everyone. And there's a beautiful sound out there today too. The frogs are very busy, the birds are chirping. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Cutthroat Craig, aka, what else have we got? Batman. Have we given you any new ones, Craig? No. We think we need to think of some new trendy names for next year. We can't be sticking with the old 2017 names. Now remember, this is live and interactive, so you can have chats with us today. #Safari Live, or talk to us via the YouTube chat. Now, we've been driving about. We've seen some jackals very quickly, but we didn't stay for too long because I want to try and find some more jackals. We're quite close to my favorite ones, the one little jackal that always seems to come out and say hello to the car. Whether it'll do it today, I'm not sure, but we'll give it a bash. And then we're going to head towards the river and hopefully have a look at the bat-eared fox den and see if it is still active. We've managed to get down there. We've had no rain to stop us, so I think that will be our plan, because I've been trying to do this now for ages and it's just ridiculous how I haven't been able to get it. Okay, so I'm just also thinking about what our best route is going to be to get towards those jackals. We can go this way, but I think we won't. I think we'll go another way. I think we'll go past Hippo Pools and then go around and see if they're out. Remember that amazing... Remember that other sighting we had just before I went on leave of that one of the adult jackals carrying a scrub hare? Now, Louise is wondering how long it's going to take me to get to the jackals. Lou, probably about another between 5 to 8 minutes, depends. Also, it's not too far away, it's just sort of around the bend-ish, but we've still got a bit of a distance to cover. Okay, we're just going to bypass all these animals because I want to get there quickly. And the reason why I want to try and get to both of these species as quick as I can is because typically they're more active, like the big predators are, I suppose, so early mornings. And there are very few clouds in the sky today, so I think we're in for a hot one. They won't be out moving around for too long. They'll probably go and rest up in the shade of underneath some shrubs, something along those lines. So it is important, if you want to catch the animals, you know, out and about, you should do that. Very cool. Okay, well, we're going to keep heading around. I'll try and get there as quick as I can, and hopefully we'll have some jackal faces to greet us. Noelle, however, is in the Sabi sand, and she's still with the Birmingham Boys.
I'm still with the Birmingham Boys, and we've just started getting a little bit of movement. We've had 2 of them move. Here we go. There you are. Big, long bodies. I think of the 4, that one has the shortest body that I've seen. So I'm just going to turn us around, and we're going to keep following them because they've decided not to go over the western boundary. They're still in the area where we can view them, which is making me super, super, super happy, and I hope you guys as well. Oh, and we're going to get a nice little view of them walking down this game path. Single file, one after the other. Now, the 4th brother, the one that got up and first and started moving off, was roaring slightly earlier, but again, not hectically. So I am hoping, because it's still a little bit cool, that we will be able to get more lion roars for you. I'm just going to, there we go. It's a nice shot. Our wind has switched a little bit. It's coming from behind us before, sort of behind us from the south. Before it was coming a bit from our northeast. So it's interesting when it switched like this, then the older one here stopped and started looking back and just investigated. I'm amazed at their condition. I mean, these males have some very good genes. They've got quite nice dark manes. Very, very, thick bodies. They're definitely good hunters and keeping good track of their territory at the same time. I love learning about new lions. I love getting into new territories. I love getting to know the ins and outs and what they prefer. It's really quite special for me, and that's also just because I really have a thing for lions. Now, of lions, sorry guys that I'm not staring at you while I'm talking, I'm just meandering a little bit. We're coming up to the area where we had that epic wild dog sighting with the leopard. I just want to get ahead of them, because all 4 are going to be here now, and we might get a little bit of greeting and a little bit of light, so just give me half a second as I meander. Brent, you're curious to know if lions ever lose their voices. Brent, I've never seen or heard of that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I know that when I talk too much, I sometimes, guys, this is your screenshots. Look at this light. Look at this light. Oh, yes, thank you. Play in that beautiful light. They might get a little bit scratchy. Their vocal box is movable. So I think that they don't necessarily have as much issues as we do. Oh, everybody, let's have a moment of quiet and just watch this. Can we hear the sounds they're making? Very, very, very cool, eh? All the grunts, and the groaning. all of that basically going, brother, I love you, brother, I love you. The grooming. Reaffirming their social bond. We talk about it often when we see lions, but that's exactly what they're doing. It's exactly like if you have brothers that you haven't seen in a while, and then you go and you give them a big, big, massive hug. Pat on the back. Yeah, it is definitely very sweet, everybody. Definitely very sweet. Now, I'm just waiting to see if they're... Okay, they're going to lie down like this. I just want to maneuver us a little bit. That was really beautiful, that light that popped through there, and everything that just happened there. But I want to be able to see all four with all of you. So I'm just going to do... Vildy, is that okay, or do you need me to... Okay, let's try this. Okay, so lucky us, they did not go over the western boundary, as I said. And lucky us, it looks as if they're losing momentum to move for the morning. It is starting to warm up a little bit. So I'm hoping that what this means is that they're going to spend the day here, which means we might this afternoon as well be able to see them again. But of course, we'll have to wait and see. So now, just for anybody that's been with us for a short time, we are going to go through sort of lions and the background of lions and a little bit of the background here in South Africa. But before we get to that point, let's head back up to Brent, because I think Brent's lions might be doing something other than sleeping.
Isn't that gorgeous? Lions through brilliant green grass in stunning morning light. All cubs and adults present by my last count. Sometimes I lose some of the cubs in the long grass, but they were all there, all 12, and all 4 adults. It's a long line of lions going past us at the moment. What a beautiful sight. Unfortunately for them, not much bacon to be seen around. And my arch nemesis are here again this morning. The little Faroos, invisibles, stinging, biting, evil midges have really got me quite a few times. Faisal is wondering, are pride and coalition bonds for life? Not necessarily, Faisal. So what happens with a lot of prides is when they get very big, over 20 or so, it's very difficult to feed all those mouths. So the prides will split and form new prides. So they're not necessarily always for life. Male line coalitions, on the other hand, once they're sort of over 5-6 years old, they're generally set for life, but then still, on the odd occasion, they do break up. And there we go, some of the slightly older cubs. And you watch how they blink their eyes to try to keep the grass seeds out. You need to grow a bit to get your head above the grass there, little man. Now, as Jar goes wide, you'll see there's a lovely herd of elephants in the background as well, marching off towards the forest for a feed. Okay, let's just move again quickly. Oh, I hate these blooming things. And for some reason, they seem to like me more than everyone else. Jar? More than other presenters? Yeah. I don't know what it is. but I get absolutely mauled by them. And they actually spray a little bit of acid, so there's really itchy bumps all over your legs. And I forgot my buff, because the worst is when they get inside your shirt. So even though it's got quite hot already, I've still got my scarf on, and that's to try stop the midges getting inside my shirt. Because then they dance acid all over your back. Now, one of the more irritating creatures that's around in the rainy season. And for some reason, this week I've been bitten by everything. I mean, I hadn't seen a tsetse fly in weeks, and then in one day I got bitten 3 times by 3 different tsetse flies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot ahead of them again, try to catch them about to climb the next termite mound for a view, which is right here. Now, the one thing about when the grass gets long like this, you do have to worry about disappearing into a aardvark burrow. Let's see how they're going to climb this termite mound and pose nicely for us. I hope so. It doesn't look like it, though. Looks like they're on a mission. MJ is wondering, with so many cubs, why don't they hunt larger prey? Well, larger prey is harder to catch and more dangerous. And there are so many warthogs here that when the wildebeest aren't here, they tend to specialize in warthogs. There are a huge amount of warthogs in this area. And remember, a big male warthog is pretty large, 100 kilos, sometimes over. And as you can just hear them walking through the grass. You can hear the yellow-throated oxpeckers as well. I mean, yellow-throated oxpeckers, I talk absolute twaddle. Yellow-throated longclaws. I think I just saw some oxpeckers flying over, and they were the last thing on my brain. Oh, now they're going to sneak past a couple of big elephant bulls. There we go. Oh, isn't that stunning? Balanites, trees, elephants, and lions. Now, unfortunately for them, no warthogs just yet. It is such a peaceful morning. If we just listen, we can hear lots of yellow-throated longclaws. I don't know what's up with my brain today. Okay, let's keep up with them. The last lioness is past. Midges, go away. Now, whenever I see little mounds like this, I have to drive quite cautiously. Okay, well, I'm going to try keep up with the lions and not fall into an aardvark burrow. While we do that, let's go to a different set of big bad boy lions in South Africa.
Thanks, Brett. Yeah, so they started moving again, but all they're doing is just finding a nice little patch to lie in. So that they can be sort of all together here. Sorry about the back of my head there. All right, so just a little bit with some history of the area that we're in. So in 1898, the Sabi sands became part of the Sabi Game Reserve. And the Sabi Game Reserve eventually became part of Kruger National Park. The Sabi wild tune, as it's known now, became its actual self only in 1948. There was a little bit of a turnover in 1924, but in 1948. And so this this area that we're sitting in as part of the greater Kruger area. So Kruger National Park is roughly about 2 million hectares, which is double that, and it's just over 4 million acres. But then if you add in the greater Kruger area as well as the Limpopo de National Park, I believe, if I'm saying that correctly, which is on the Mozambican side, you're looking at close to, sorry, I'm doing math in my head, about 4 million hectares, so about just over 8 million acres. This is a really huge area. Now, interestingly enough, when these areas started becoming conservation areas in the late 1800s, early 1900s, into sort of the mid 1900s, the idea of conservation around predators was not as we know it today. So we spoke about it a little bit when we saw the wild dogs, how wild dogs were considered pests and were shot out. Lions also at one point were considered pests. There's two amazing books that I'm going to mention for people that love to read about this area. One is Memories of a Game Ranger, and the other is A Game Ranger Remembers. Memories of a Game Ranger is based in sort of the early 1900s about a game scout whose part of his job was to sort of cull lions. And the other, A Game Ranger Remembers, is about one of the most epic wardens we've ever had in the Kruger Park, in my opinion, and his experience as a warden in the Kruger area. And so really great history in both of those books. I would definitely look them up. You're going to enjoy the reading that side. So now the reason why I bring up the fact that lions were sort of culled out, one of the reasons why they were culled out is because they eat prey species, and a lot of those prey species that they were eating are prey species that humans like to hunt for meat themselves and for sport. The other thing is that at some points a lot of this area was sort of cattle farming, and lions and wild dogs as well, but lions in particular also have did you get nice, Vildy? Vildy saw our little black-bellied bustard flying there and is doing some amazing camera work as always. Thanks, Vildy. Beautiful little descent there. And so the lion population numbers that we see today have a lot to do with the fact that there is not enough space for them. There's too many humans. And then the other thing is that there was an idea behind how lions function within the ecosystem that we understand better today and didn't really understand then. But as we carry on with our conversation here, Taylor's got a really amazing little predator, a bat-eared fox. Let's quickly go to her, and then we'll come back and finish our story.
Failed miserably with our friends the jackals, but that's okay because we found our friends the bat-eared foxes. But the only problem is that they're running away from us. They are so skittish, and I was really hoping that they were going to start to settle down now, because we've seen them a few times. You can see they're just running back to the tree line now, and they have moved their den. They moved their den away from the road, so when we came here the last time and we had that big downpour the night before, I think that their den had got completely flooded. And they've had to sort of, make a new home, which is okay. There's plenty of burrows that they can just use, and that would have been occupied by another animal. There they go. They're so cool, but no little ones. I haven't seen any kits. I was having a look around, but nothing so far. But they might still just be inside the den, but they have gone and disappeared. And often when we have sightings like this of jackals, of bat-eared foxes, of serval, of caracal, they do tend to be quite quick. So even just a quick glimpse is quite nice. Oh, but at least we got to see them. Let's let me try and get the car into reverse first. There's a lot of zebra moving down towards the cul-de-sac crossing area. So what I think we might do is head down that way, head towards the Mara River, and have a look around and see if those striped animals are going to go and cross the river. They seem to be crossing quite a bit, so we might be lucky there, but we know how long, these types of things can take. Hello, Thompson's gazelle. No, don't run away. They're such beautiful animals, aren't they? They're so striking with their coloration. Their faces always look so dirty. Turn around so I can show everybody what I'm talking about. And there we go. Now you can see quite nicely. And if you go, Craig, can we have a close look at its gezicht, at its face? Please turn your head. No, and of course it's not going to do it now. What we will try and do is we'll try and show you proper pre-orbital glands, and we might see it quite nicely also on the topi. And the topi are quite relaxed, but this beautiful creature unfortunately is not cooperating at the moment. Okay, let's go to the zebra. Zebra, where are you going? Yeah, they're walking down that way. Maybe I'll have some luck today. But yeah, a bit sad about our friends the jackals. You know what I think's happened is those pups were getting old enough to move on and actually disperse from their parents, and their parents will hang around within that their territory, and the youngsters will move off and have to go and find some unoccupied areas. So I reckon they've got to that age now when they're fine, because when we last saw them, they were happily trotting about, they were looking for insects, they weren't, you know, running around with the adults, they were off doing their own thing. So sadly, I think our friends have gone, but we'll keep checking around there. Maybe they wouldn't have gone too far. I also heard lions roaring, but that sounded very far away, so I don't know if we're going to see the lions. We could. We're in Scar's favorite area now, and we're also where the Paradise Pride like to lay around. They like it on the other side of the river, but we can still see them at times. I'll just go up ahead and then we'll see what these zebra are doing. We're still a fair way off the river, but maybe there's some more that are already, you know, at the water's edge. Just checking things out. Actually, I should concentrate on the left-hand side of the road. See if we can see those foxes again. Now, TA, you're wondering how many types of foxes do we get in the Mara? Well, I've only seen the battered fox here, and I don't think you would see the Cape fox up this way. But if you go down towards the Kalahari and down towards sort of the Eastern Cape region of South Africa, then you can see Cape foxes. But to my knowledge, none up here. So it's just the bat-eared foxes. And we are lucky, we do see them quite regularly. And I've had some amazing sightings where they've been completely relaxed. Okay, so here's the zebra that I'm telling you about. There's quite a few of them. They're all spread out, but they seem to be grouping. They don't look like they're gathering at the water's edge just yet. It actually looks like the youngster, or there's two foals in that herd. They've sat down. They haven't woken up just yet. Maybe they're just resting up for the moment, but maybe they're actually just resting here last night, and it's a good spot to rest because they're not sleeping on the wet grass. There's a bit of a muddy patch that you can see. They don't seem to mind the mud on their hooves too much. So where are you going to go? I see if they go there, that's not good for us because we can't get in there. Hopefully they don't cross down in this section unless they go all the way around to the cul-de-sac. But our favourite spots, they're a bit far off them, which is not ideal. Oh, we can go and have a look around the river anyway. We'll come back to these zebra just because they're in a non-off-roading area. Even cul-de-sac's a bit far. I'm just trying to think. So cul-de-sac is down that way, and then the other crossings are off to our right. Let's see, maybe there's a lion or something laying about. Let me just quickly scan. Tree line. I'm still trying to get my bush eyes in. It takes a few days for your eyes to start spotting things again, and also to be able to hear as well as you normally do. Like now I can't really hear the birds calling over the sound of the engine, which we normally are able to do. Bye zebra, don't cross just yet. We might find another herd. Brent was lucky. Brent's seen a couple of crossings over the last few days, so who knows, maybe we'll also have a chance. And if they do cross in some of these areas, it's quite nice. It's shallow, so they can make it over quite quickly. So go zebra. It's not always nice when the crocodiles win, is it? But I suppose they have to eat too. So it's a tricky area here. There's lots of places for the lions to sort of hide in the little rocky outcrops, and there's some shrubs growing around. We know they like to lay in them. And then there's pockets of really tall grass. which we also know after yesterday's lion sighting that they can completely disappear. Craig, I thought you were going to point at something. No, not pointing at anything. Speaking of lions, animal that I have not found this morning, however, Noelle is on a roll. Let's go and have a look at those beautiful boys.
Hello, Taylor. Welcome back from leave. Great bat-eared fox. Super jealous about that. Our male lions are completely flat cat, as they would do. They've been moving most of the night. Unless something comes past that interests them, say other predators to chase around or possibly something to hunt, they're going to be, from what I can tell, pretty much here for most of the day. And it does feel like it's going to be a very hot day. So just to wrap up before, we didn't want to lose sight of that wonderful bat-eared fox with Taylor. So just to wrap up from before, we did a little bit of a talk on how lions have operated within the sort of sphere of the greater Kruger area, specifically where we are in Sabi Sands, and just the population decreases due to human encroachment. And just the idea that over time, our ideas on how to best keep wild places wild has changed. So lions have gone from something to be shot out and considered a pest because they, quote unquote, were affecting too much of the prey population, to being something that we understand fully how they work within a trophic pyramid, a food web, a network, the ecosystem, habitats, niches. I mean, we could carry on and on and on, and being a very important part of those systems. And unfortunately getting to the point where the numbers are quite low, and then how do we make sure that they don't go any lower than what they are? Now, one of the main things you can do to help with things like that is, one, you're watching Safari Live, and being an active part of the wildlife here. Another is to come and be a guest, like some of the vehicles that we've seen out and about this morning. And then there's other organizations that you can look into. You're more than welcome to get a hold of me on my Instagram if you would like more commentary or have questions about places to possibly look into. It's not a problem. You can private message me at any point. All right. So our lions, because they're sleeping, we've had an epic sort of 45 minutes with them, half hour with them. I think we're going to leave them to sleep, and I think we might carry on and go and see what else is out and about. There was a sighting of a leopard over on Torchwood. It's got a little warthog. We're not going to be able to go that side, but it is there, that side. Angama, the tracks went out this morning, or yes, early this morning, late last night, over into Little Gallery. But Shadow, I don't know if she's come back from Little Gallery. We didn't pick up anything on Tundi this morning because obviously we were trying to get over here to see these beautiful four boys. And then we had our buffalo tracks, which I forgot to mention to you, so we might just get to see some buffalo today. So while I'm busy figuring out where we're going to go and what we're going to see, let's head on over to James, who would like to say hello again.
Well, I've got a little beetlie here, and this little beetlie is an important beetlie because, of course, he's a dung beetlie. But what's interesting, we had a question the other day about whether or not dung beetles can fly, and some of them most assuredly can. This one cannot, and you can see it cannot if you look at its carapace here. Those are the elytra. And an elytrum, which is the singular of elytra, of course, is the sort of solidified four wings. And most insects have got two sets of wings, and on many of the beetles, that elytra, or the front wings have hardened to form this protective shell. Now, on the flying dung beetles, that elytra, those elytra are split down the middle, and they split open when the beetle wants to fly, and the hind wings come out and off it flies. And the hind wings are much more delicate, sort of little membranes, if you like, they used to fly. Now this beetle's four wings have fused together to form a solid sort of carapace. You can see there is a line down the middle, but it's totally fused. So this beetle must crawl. It may not fly. The advantage, of course, being that it has extra protection, but it's unable to helicopter its way to enormous piles of dung. Gillian, you say you love dung beetles. They're like little tanks. They are rather like little tanks, aren't they? This one has got very powerful forearms, and I suspect that his forearms are even more powerful than some of the dung-rolling types that we've seen, on account of the fact that he probably has to defend himself much more carefully than a flying dung beetle, which could often just fly away from potential predators. I also think that I don't think this is a dung-rolling type of beetle. I think it buries the dung straight underneath where it lies. So he's got more substantial limbs than the dung roller. Isn't it impressive? He's also going to fall off me. And I don't know if you can see this, but you can maybe see his little eyes. See them there? I will release him. I don't know what he can see through those little eyes. I imagine they're probably simple eyes. Doug, you said dung beetles only eat dung. No, they don't. Quite a lot of them eat carrion as well. So I have to tell the story of a beetle that landed on my bed one evening, and I picked it up and threw it out the window, and then I put my hand to my face, as one does when one is about to go to sleep, and I smelt like I had just had a bath in the innards of a buffalo. It was very disgusting, and so it stank of carrion. And some of them only eat carrion. Some members of the family of dung beetles will only eat carrion, and so they're not strictly dung beetles, I suppose. It'd be more carcass beetles, but many of them will eat both, and often they'll go on to predator dung as well, of course, which is much the same as carrion. This chap mercifully seems to be on a vegetarian diet. Good, there he is. I just wanted to show you something quickly over back here. As I made mention of the fact that the flowers of the baboon's tail are largely purple. And I found a purple one along here. It wasn't far, was it, Fergus? I feel like it was close by. It was on this path. I haven't walked past it again, have I? Here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is. There we are. And you can see there the purple flower of the baboon's tail, much more common than the white. Oh, and look, it's being pollinated. Look at the bees. Fascinating, I've never seen that before. We now know how it is that the baboon's tail pollinates. Huh. That is fantastic. Hello, Lily, aged just 6 years old. You want to know about using plants in the bush for medicine. Yes, you can, Lily. You can definitely use lots of plants out here for medicine. Herbert, for example, his mother, a doctor, a traditional doctor, and she knows all of the plants here that you can use for medicine. Just about every single plant here has got some kind of use as a medicine. I haven't used many of them. I'm trying to think of one. If we look around here, we'll probably be able to find one just where we're standing. Let's have a look. Because just about every single plant can be used in some way for medicine. I naturally now can't find one for you. Let me have a quick look. Yes, we've got lots of combretum. That's escaping my mind and my eyes. Let me just look carefully. Lily, I will attempt very seriously to find you some sort of medicinal plant. We might have to get Herbert to tell us one a little bit later, because we've only got two kinds of plants around us here basically at the moment. We've got the red bush willow and the black monkey thorn, one of which can be used for food. You can eat the black monkey thorn fruits, but you can't use any of them for medicine as far as I know. Alright, we're going to try and find you some medicine, Lily. While we do that, Taylor has got some lions that she wants to share with you.
Okay. We've got some flat ones, that's what we have. We actually drove past them. I spotted the Paradise Pride, which is behind us and on the other side of the river. So we started making our way towards them, and then I very easily, I think I drove past these lions twice. I didn't even see them, which is quite funny. But they do blend in. They look like the rocks this morning. And I'm not sure what this pride is called. I don't know if an official name is the Serena Pride, but there are a couple of lionesses within them, and we see them actually quite often around here, normally accompanied by the musketeers, the male lions, but they don't seem to be here at the moment. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cats. Is it 5, Craig, or did I count wrong? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there are 5. And I think they're all lionesses. There could be some youngsters here. The most I've seen together, though, I think was 3 lionesses. But we did have that sighting where Scar was about 2, and they were just laying just out of view off in one of the tree lines, which made it particularly difficult. And what I would like to do, seeing as though these cats are flat, we're going to drive a haul of 20 meters very quickly, because I want to show, well, it's a bit more than 20 meters. For once I didn't exaggerate like I normally do, but just back this way, so I can show you the Paradise Pride. Actually, maybe if I do go up this way, we'll see them better. We were just tucked a bit low, but it's the first time that the entire Paradise Pride, well, that I've seen them, have been right on the edge. Where have they gone now? Oh, there they are. Let me go around here, and then I think we'll have a better view. There's lots of animals around. Buffalo, lots of Thompson's gazelle. The zebra not here though. The zebra have moved a bit further down that way, so we're gonna look. I'll go around the bend just slightly, and then we'll be able to see them sitting up on the ridge watching.